Hi, how are you? Thanks for coming back. So, here we are. I have a little bit of a confession to make. I did fix my painting a little bit while you were away. Let me show you what I did. So I made sure that I had enough of this space and enough of this space for what's going on there. I realized that my lines weren't exactly correct. And I also thought that bringing this down a bit would help me broaden this space out. So that's what I did. I fixed it a little. I also added a little bit of like a tinted down burnt sienna on this. I added that color to that wall because I don't know if you can see, but from where I'm standing, because of the swirliness of the paint on the wood, it looks like there's like a little bit of pink in that wall compared to the other wall. And it's kind of a cooler pink because the white is cool. So the other thing that I did to get ready is I mixed up a nice orangey red here. You might ask why I did that, and that would be a good question. So for the hammer handle is blue, and beneath the rust and the age, this was silver. So my feeling is a good underpainting for this entire hammer is going to be like an orangey red, because it's a nice contrast to what's going on over. And generally speaking, when you underpaint, as I've said, when you underpaint a complement underneath the object that you're painting, it will make that object pop a little more. I'm going to pick a brush, and I mean, it should, like the last brush I used to put the underpainting of the hammer down was a craft brush. It was this brush. So this isn't like, this is like you can get this brush for $1 at the dollar store, maybe 50 cents. It's a very thick bristle craft brush, and that's usually what I use to do underpainting with, because it's, you know, there doesn't have to be a lot of precision. And for the underpainting for the hammer, because there has to be some precision, I'm using kind of a rounded tip brush. Still, this isn't a great brush either. And honestly, you know, I have some very good brushes, and I do use them for certain things. But again, I'm laying down the bones. This is an underpainting, and so right now, all I'm doing is trying to get the measurements right. And when I say the measurements, I'm talking about the relationship between this and this. So this has to be the same length, and this has to be the same length, and all of these relationships have to be similar. So this is the tricky part of painting representationally, is that when you pick something to paint, it's good for that item to have a good space relationship within the background that you're painting, because then you have a chance to practice measuring. So what I'm doing is I'm standing behind my easel, not right now, but that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to measure this as compared to this. And then I'm going to see exactly where the background, where that hits the hammer. I'm going to see where this hits the hammer, and I'm going to see where this hits the hammer. So that's what I'm doing back here when I'm painting, and that's why it's important to stay in one place, is because then, like, if I just move a foot over, every space relationship changes. So like, I'll put you here, make sure that you can see the hammer. Yeah, so you see that. I'll get you a little bit closer, and then I'll move you. Now that looks very different from what you were just looking at, right? Everything changes. The lines come down in different places on the hammer. The space, the length of the hammer handle changes. So that's why it's important to try and stay in one place when you're looking at an object and you're painting it, because if you move too much, the relationships will change too much, and it'll be almost impossible to get the right relationship. So I'm going to start. So as I've said before, I cleaned my water. So you wipe down you dip your brush in water first. And then this is just a simple orangey red. I used the yellow I've been using all along. And I used this red. It's one of my favorite reds right now. I just found it. And then I'm going to just roughly look at what's going on here. I'm not really standing in the right place. Look what's going on. And then measure. So this, if I'm looking at this correctly, this is the length of the hammer on my brush. And this is the length of the handle. So that's just over 2 times the length of the head, even though it looks so much longer. So that's what I'm going to do here. And I'm going to make sure that I get it down. See, I'm just doing a broad stroke here. And I want to make sure, because here, gonna get this a little bit more wet. Get a little bit more paint. And see, this is the great thing about painting, is that when you make mistakes, you can just paint over it. Like the background, while you've been away, I have definitely been fixing. Like, it's a totally different painting than when I left you. So all I'm doing right now, see, I picked up a little bit of that yellow that I fixed. See on my brush, oops, that's a big mistake. So here we go. And see how I'm just filling that in? Very lightly. See? And it's a matter for me of slowly getting there, you know? Like I'm just very slowly getting there. And this should be maybe right here. See? It's just like, I inch my way there. That's what I do. I like to inch my way there. So you can tell that that's a hammer. But not really much else. And so that's what I'm doing. I basically just, like, so then I take a step back and I see, and I feel honestly like the hammerhead is like too long. Like this should be like more up here. So I'm gonna wash off my brush. Shake that out, get some of this white, and just, bam. See that? I'm fixing it. Fixing it little by little. Bam. Okay. So, and also probably too thick. I mean, we'll see, but getting more red. And yeah, here we go. So this is obviously too big here. You know, like this is why I underpaint too. It's because I do want to get the basic bold shape down. So this should be down here. Woohoo, see? Just painting, just covering it up, made a mistake. This is why I love painting, is because I'm good with mistakes. I mean, some people might say I'm a little bit too comfortable with mistakes. Personally, I don't think you can get too comfortable with mistakes. I think that if you're comfortable with mistakes, you're going to succeed a lot more in life than if you're not comfortable with mistakes. Because generally speaking, anything you try the first time, you're not going to be good at it. And so the more room you give yourself to fail, the more easily you can get back up after you've fallen. You know, so like I'm taking a step back and looking at it, and I feel like that's pretty good, but it's not really yet quite there, but it's better than it was. So, like, definitely this is going to come down a bit. See, this is just roughing out the shapes. Just roughing out the shapes for the hammer. And when I walk up to it, see, this is, the hammer covers this back part. So I want to make sure I got that. But right now I'm just looking at the shape relationships. That's really all I'm trying to get down. The work comes in the details. But really, when you're getting down the bones, it's important to get them as close to correct as possible. Okay, and then this comes up like this. Oh, no, like this. And this. Ooh, see? See, now this is what I've just caught. This shape here that I'm painting, this here is much bigger than that is there. You see that? So what I'm going to do is bring this down just a little bit. Let's see. See, this comes here. Comes right below. See, it's really for me a way of feeling out the shapes. Right now, they're not feeling that good, if I'm being honest. Like I feel like the basic part of it is good, but look at how big I've made the hammerhead. Like, that's just not correct. Anybody could tell you that. And that's, you know, that's what I did. I gotta fix it. And I'm good with that, you know? It's kind of why I keep painting, is because the mistakes I make don't really bother me. I'm so used to making mistakes that I'm kind of like, yep, making mistakes, that's what I do. That's my MO. I like to make mistakes. Because the more I make them, as I said, the closer I am to making something good. To making something better. I mean, I have taught a lot of painting classes, and I've also taken a lot of painting classes. I've made tons of art. And I have to tell you, this is something that a lot of people maybe don't know about me. Maybe only the people who went to art school with me. But if I'm being honest, there's about 4 or 5 dumpsters full of my artwork just from those 4 years of art school alone. That's pretty much how many mistakes I made while in school. And that's what that's about. That's what learning is about. It's about allowing yourself to make mistakes. And this is what I've been doing here, showing you how comfortable I am with mistake making. Look at that. I mean, that is a picture that says Sarah Young, or Spike if you will, is very comfortable with making mistakes. Okay, so that's my weekend class. I will be coming at you tomorrow with another class. This painting might be brought up just a little bit more so that you can see how I fix things. I'll show you that. But yeah, jump into your painting and make mistakes, because that's the best way you're going to learn how to do things right. And I mean, the more comfortable you are making mistakes in life, the more you're going to be able to take risks in life. And while right now maybe being risky isn't the best thing because of the virus, but after this whole thing clears up, there's going to be plenty of opportunity for you to take risks. And I implore you to do it, because risk taking, especially when you're dealing with life opportunities and life chances, it fills out your life in such a beautiful way. You know, when you're open to things that you don't know about, when you're open to the unknown, when you're open to taking a chance on yourself, your life blossoms. So that's part of what painting is about, is training yourself to take risks. So until next time, power to the peaceful.